So here we go. Politics, ... What comes after ... To you is probably no different than anyone else here tonight. We're all disgusted, confused, and incredibly concerned. It is toxic, and it is dirty, and it seemingly doesn't behoove any of us, red or blue. I would have to think our forefathers are appalled at how far we have fallen, and I mean this on both sides. Corruption has creeped into the underbelly of all politics, and it makes us all wonder, how could we possibly do right by our country or state when we are up against the inevitable powers that be? I wish I had an answer, but all I can do is try to understand it in the best way that makes sense for me to forge ahead. Political corruption is a misuse of public office for private gain. I spoke with someone today, and he was trying to get me to see another side of corruption. He told me this: what one views as corruption, another views as process. Find out who is in charge of the process and how did they get there. He said to follow the money. His argument was, is it really corruption, or do all politicians, for the most part, have another interest that they are protecting? Is voting on bills in conjunction to protecting your special interest corruption, or is it just survival of the fittest? Two examples of self-serving corruption in Louisiana would be, number one, private prisons. Let's get tough on crimes because heads on beds in prisons will benefit sheriffs who profit from this. Number two, nursing homes. If you're an owner of a nursing home, you basically have a license to steal, and it is extremely lucrative. Are you aware that there is a moratorium on building nursing homes in Louisiana, basically creating a monopoly? They are guaranteed 75% occupancy even if they just have one bed filled. A special interest group, Nursing Home Association, contribute to certain elected officials, including legislation and government, who will maintain status quo. They don't want someone to say this is a free market. They are protecting their interest, their special interest. Is that corrupt? Are all PACs corrupted? Today I heard of the Gumbo PAC, which was a group of Democrats who slyly infiltrated the state to lift John Bel Edwards to governor. This PAC never used John Bel Edwards' name in commercials. They used Republicans who turn on David Vitter in a clever and brilliant way. They put up signs saying Republicans for John Bel Edwards, and it was paid for by Democrats. Is this corruption, or is it simply genius? I don't know what the parameters for corruption in politics are, but we as people know when it goes wrong and when our democracy is being compromised. Special interest groups have become the forefront of our voting process. People are oriented to vote on single issues in Louisiana. They want to know the people they vote for will side with them on their issue, and if you do, they will get you elected. Big companies and outside influences are dictating our elections. So then people look for an outsider, and we end up with someone like our present president. Voting for the lesser of two evils becomes unattractive to some, and so they just don't vote. They don't feel emotionally attached or are too far removed to feel pertinent as a voter. Why do some individual special interests play so hard financially with certain candidates but not with others? Follow the money. It usually leads you to the purpose behind the corruption. It is a First Amendment right to give money and support PACs and buy media. This leads to an abundance of money directed to those special interests. If you paper trail corruption, it usually leads to dark money. Unfortunately, the Louisiana state capitol is falling in line with the White House, and dark money has seeped in. This makes it extremely difficult to be a moderate in this state, and even more difficult to run for office if you don't have an R by your name. Does the closeness to a candidate carry more weight than the corruption charges? Most people in Louisiana will vote an incumbent, which has a high probability of being reelected, despite allegations of corruption. Do we not care about how people get their money for campaigns? I would have to say most people in Louisiana do not care, and this is very dangerous. Until we all start following the money to how dark money affects our election process, corruption will always win. Should we maybe start paying attention to those who are brave enough to say enough is enough when it comes to dirty money? Maybe we support those who are willing to stand alone and be willing to fail, if only to follow integrity. Maybe we focus more on the actual message of the candidate and not how many commercials the candidates run or how much money you need to get even in the race. We should all have an increasing concern on the rising costs for local and state campaigns. We have now officially priced the common man out of running. A run for local school board shouldn't cost more than the average income of the community. Does money always have to talk? Why can't we make a shift now and say we want more than paid politicians? Why can't we say we expect our leaders to lead all of the people and not just their people, the people that paid for them? Politics, ... is inevitable. It is not going anywhere. Even if you want to vote in a non-politician, politics will follow. We can all, red, white, and blue, stand together and demand we deserve more. This can't be a partisan issue. Power is in numbers, and progress is believing you can achieve the impossible. I hope we can achieve the impossible in overcoming corruption in politics in our election process. Today I stand with my fellow activists and all of you, and we are demanding back our democracy.
Yeah.